Michael Davis writes, amongst the chaos high above, endless clouds they push and shove, mingling in a changing dance. What are the odds to acquire a glance? To glimpse the allure of a human face from mist arranged from random space. The naysayers say just odds and sods, a gazillion to one would be good odds. Not so the believers who disagree. Grand things abound above to see. Witness the bounty, witness the white, targets in morning's crisp daylight. A myriad of phenomenon for one to see. Sky canvassing goes on so endlessly. So don't believe what the naysayers do. Believe yourself and enjoy the view. When I was a child, my best friend Beth Hagerson and I lived these beautiful words. And one of our favorite things to do was to lie on the grass and look up at the clouds, creating magnificent stories from their magnificent shapes. Tales of rabbits and kings, of marshmallows and unicorns, and the clouds as they would dance across the sky. Our stories would change as we giggled, trying to keep up with Mother Nature as she would challenge our imaginations. You see some things in those clouds? Well, then there were those dark and ominous storm clouds. I was not too fond of those. Lightning terrified me, and thunder was even worse. However, I had 7 dogs who also hated lightning and thunder and those scary clouds, and we would huddle all together, comforting one another. Then one day, my Grammy, she showed me how the sunlight would stream its golden rays through the clouds. And she said, you know what? Those are called angel rays. And one day when I am in heaven and you see those beautiful rays in the clouds, you will know that it's me telling you I'm watching over you. To this day, I always stop whatever I'm doing to pause and to look at my angel rays, remembering all of those I love who have gone before me and are in heaven, as if each and every one of them were one of those beautiful rays glittering down on me. I wonder if the writer of Hebrews had this same affection for clouds. For the words that we read today are poetic and masterful, painting an image in our mind's eye to give us awe and wonder, as well as challenges and empowerment. It's almost as if I can picture the writer with his quill in hand, looking up at a sky, something like this, and somehow being linked for just that moment between heaven and earth. Writing such beautiful and divinely inspired words. Words about a cloud of witnesses becoming part of those angel rays that sparkle down on us. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and the sin that clings so closely, and let us run with perseverance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith, for the sake of joy that was set before him, endured the cross, disregarding its shame, and has taken his seat at the right hand of the throne of God. It's almost as if that writer was gazing at the future of Christianity, offering those who follow Jesus advice on how to become ready and fit for the race that's coming their way. He does not sugarcoat the challenges of what we will endure, but instead he imparts on us the wisdom that was required of the witnesses of the past will be required of us today. So, let's step into the cloud. Picture a grand stadium, not of physical, but of spiritual athletics. The stands are filled with famous athletes of the past who have run their races and completed their events as designed by God. And now they're up there eager to cheer on new participants. If you look around you, these people, they are alive and they are aware. And if they are so present, it's almost as if we could reach out and touch them. The picture before our eyes is active, a watching throng of encouragement for those of us who are down on the field doing our best to run this race of faith. If we look close, look, there's Abel. You might remember him as the one who offered a sacrifice that was pleasing to God. Well, Noah's sitting beside him, having heard the command of God to do that which was ridiculous in the eyes of his neighbors, but he obeyed with a simple faith, trusting that God knew what God was talking about. In the mindset of a spiritual athlete, simple faith is crucial to success. Well, over there on the other side, there's Abraham and Sarah. The promise given to them was totally unreasonable by human physiology. I mean, those two old saints, they packed up, they left their homeland, they had a baby in their 90s and walked to an unknown destination. And all the while, they did not demand an explanation of God, of where they were going and what they were doing, but rather they trusted God, demonstrating the most important attitude of a spiritual champion. Oh, down off to the left over there, there's Enoch, whose simple life was one of walking with God. You know, some spiritual champions, they aren't known for all their great big feats of awesome feats of what they did, but some are known just for the quality of the life that they live. But if you look below him, there's Isaac and Jacob and Joseph. Now, they were some athletes that had the tape at the finish line in mind, and they were so confident of their race of faith that they blessed their children in light of God's promise. Oh, and then over there's Moses. Wow. He catches the eye of everyone, for his massive frame and intense eyes give him that charismatic expression of magnificence that takes your breath away. But then sitting next to him, there's Mary, the mother of Jesus, little and tiny in stature, but one who exemplifies immense trust, faith, and perseverance with God, and teaches us that's what God's all about. Oh, and then alongside her are Mary Magdalene, the disciples, Ruth, Paul, Phoebe, Deborah, and countless more. Well, as we look a little closer, we suddenly see people that are more familiar to us. Martin Luther King Jr., Sojourner Truth, Mother Teresa, Billy Graham, Mr. Rogers, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and all of our beloved family and friends who have gone before us, urging us on as we run this race of life, cheering us on to persevere and stay strong in our faith and cast off every weight that weights us down. For spiritual athletes, that weight that weights us down can be fear, anxiety, the sin of overconfidence, arrogance, entitlement, or even too many things on our to-do list that distract us from being the spiritual athletes we're called to be. All of these great athletes, they teach us that the race is not always easy, but if we persevere as they did, looking to Jesus as the pioneer and perfecter of our faith, one day we too will join them in that cloud. Until that day, my friends, We are called to be part of Jesus' cloud of witnesses here on earth, just like those who have gone before us. None of them were perfect people, friends. All of them had questions and doubts. All of them had fear and anxiety. All of them had sinned frequently and had messed up priorities. But what they had in common was that they surrounded themselves with other believers and didn't give up. These people were overcomers because of their love and devotion to God, using Jesus as their guide and the Holy Spirit as their empowerment. Brothers and sisters, our world and just the community around us needs us to become the cloud right here more than ever. You may remember, as I said a few moments ago, that last fall the session announced that they had voted for Grace to become part of an initiative sponsored by the Presbyterian Church called Vital Congregations. And it begins right here and right now. Vital Congregations is a process designed to increase the spiritual vitality of individuals and churches in an effort to build authentic relationships, both inside but also outside our doors, strengthening souls and bringing Jesus back into the forefront of our lives and the lives of those around us. Now, before I go any further, this does not mean that Grace is not already a vital congregation. We are very vital, but just as an athlete continues to grow and persevere in their craft, we believe that Jesus is calling us to become stronger and even more vibrant than we ever dreamed we could be. Now, to achieve this, Vital Congregations is focused around 7 areas or goals, or what they are calling marks, of spiritual vitality that live in the lives of people in churches. You may have noticed something different when you came in tonight, or this morning, and each of these marks are one of the banners that are on the walls around us. They are lifelong discipleship formation, authentic evangelism, outward incarnational focus, empowering servant leadership, spirit-inspired worship, caring relationships, and ecclesial health. Don't worry if you didn't get all that right now, because we're going to spend the next 7 weeks exploring these things in depth with a new teaching series that will begin next week, the small group Bible study called Vital Signs, and monthly leadership training. Now, what Vital Congregations is not about, it's not about building buildings or solving budget problems or saying we've always done it that way or living in the past, but rather our goal is to spiritually train with and for one another to develop a greater attitude of culture of spiritual resilience and vitality, being nourished by the Spirit. And I've had many people say to me, so, okay, Holly, what's that mean for Grace? What it means is that from time to time over the next 2 years, we will come together and we will participate in activities to best evaluate who we have been, who we are now, and most importantly, discern who we want to be in the future, all in an effort to see just what the Holy Spirit has in mind to bless not only our family of faith, but the community that surrounds us. The trick to this is that your preachers and your church leaders can't do this alone. We need you to become a part of the cloud. You can be a member, you can be a visitor, you can be a friend. We would love to have anyone become a part of the cloud. And we understand that sometimes exploring things, and especially for Presbyterians, that little word change can be a little bit scary, but we're not worried because we got Jesus and a whole cloud of witnesses out there cheering us on. All we need is for you come to this open-minded, open-eared, open-hearted, and allow the Spirit to lead you. Your leaders have committed to joining the small group Bible study, and we'd love for you to do the same. And we do this according to the prophet Isaiah, who says, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name." By name. You are mine. See? I'm doing a new thing. Friends, the key to this new endeavor, it's exciting, is our openness as a family of faith to invite and to welcome the Holy Spirit and listen to the Holy Spirit, setting aside all of that sin and that weight that we carry and run with perseverance, looking to Jesus, the pioneer and the perfecter of our faith, with that amazing, great cloud of witnesses cheering us on. Question is, will you become part of the cloud and run the race with us?